And it all began with a question, of course. My uncle decided to play with me when I was a kid. He said, he brought me up and very cheekily did something. He said, I'm going to tear this piece of paper, okay? And once I tear it, I'm going to tear it into smaller piece. Then an even smaller piece. And he said, what do you keep getting? Smaller and smaller pieces of paper. Do you think this will go on forever? And it sent me off on a trail of thought. I was like, okay, maybe I tried tearing it. I could tear it to a very, very small piece, and then you have this little piece and you keep you're looking at it, and then you go like, okay, that's the best I could do. And then the question strikes you, which is, what if there's a miniature me for whom this is a very big piece of paper? Now he takes it away from me, right? I give him this piece of paper. He takes it, he starts tearing it down. So he's a little guy over here tearing it down, and then he passes it on to somebody who's even smaller. What would finally be the outcome of all this? Would the pieces of paper that you keep tearing still keep looking like pieces of paper? Or somewhere down the line, will they start looking completely different? In other words, what makes up whatever we see around us? Could you break them and go somewhere deep inside where you start seeing something completely unexpected? Because when we notice things around us, they seem pretty smooth. You take a table, it looks pretty smooth. You take water, it seems pretty smooth. Everything seems as if it's what in our minds we represent as solid, right? You go and knock it, seems pretty solid. Doesn't seem like there's any gaps or anything in there. It looks pretty good. Now the question is, what makes up these things? And that is where our entire search is going to begin. Now we know that long ago we've been told that there are 5 basic elements that make up this world, right? Now the question is, are there things that are even more basic that make up those basic 5 elements, right? And let's try to answer them. And the question is, if we keep doing that, if we keep breaking it down, would we reach a stage where I cannot divide anymore no matter what? In other words, I've reached a part which is indivisible. You know, what at that time was called an atom. Long ago, people believed that there exists that indivisible unit. If you keep breaking it down, you'll finally get a little piece which they call an atom. Now we're going to define this atom in some time, and I'm going to already warn you, okay? We're going to tell you that an atom is the indivisible unit. And in some time, we're going to tell you that atom is made up of so and so and so. And if you don't go with that, there's something wrong, because typically we've just told you atom is indivisible, and next sentence is atom is made up of these constituent particles. These two cannot go well. So what really happened was that atom was thought to be indivisible before we realized that even the atom actually is composed of smaller components, which means in one sense it is divisible. Yeah, we figured this out a little. It was not too good that we figured this out, because once we figured out that the atom could be split, what really happened was 2 big bombs were dropped in Japan during the World War, right? That was kind of basically because we kind of figured out that atoms can be split. So let's not go into that too deeply now. But the idea is, there is an indivisible unit, what was thought to be an indivisible unit, called the atom. Now, the question being, how do we know that it is indivisible? One. And how do these things come together to make up what we consider to be very, very flat land? In order to do all of this, right? The first thing we need to do is, I don't know how many of you have heard of this movie. It's a pretty old movie. Honey, I Shrunk My Kids. There was a sequel as well, I guess. Honey, I Shrunk My Kids again, right? So if you watch this, what they do is they end up becoming so small, because our problem right now is that we are too big. Just too big to understand what happens if we go deeper and deeper and deeper inside, till the point where we are comparable to these little pieces. And in order to do that, in fact, in order to understand chemistry, or what is called chemistry, what we need to do is shrink ourselves down. Or in other words, zoom in into the world to be able to see it in its true amount of detail. Because otherwise the eye is just going to smudge over and just show us flat surfaces. Flat glass planes, flat walls, everything looking pretty smooth. But the more and more we zoom in, like they did in the movie, it starts to become incredible fun. And let's do that. So before we shrink ourselves, a couple of things we seem to be sure of is that matter seems to be made up of particles. It's not really as smooth as we see. So one, it's made up of particles. And second, they seem to be really, really small particles, because if they were large, you would be able to see them, right? So how small are they? Really, 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 really small. And that's a really vague way of putting it. That's the best we can do. So they are made up of particles, and the particles that make them up are really, really small.